hard on this computer. And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Out of the Fast Lane podcast. I am your host, Brady Hauser. This podcast, of course, sponsored by Parts Companies LLC and Swagger Factory Apparel. Get all your apparel needs, racers, suits, gloves, all that at Swagger Factory Apparel, or these awesome crew shirts they made for me. Mikey
Yeah,
Jackson of
I
that.
like that. I like that crew shirt. It looks pretty clean. Looks pretty well done. I like that.
Well, as you can tell, I can't promise this won't go off the rails just because of what happened this past weekend at Gateway. But our guest tonight is Charlie Medford. Charlie took quite the ride down at up at Gateway the other night, and I don't think it was the wreck that everybody was talking about. I think it was the interview afterwards that everybody was talking about. But nonetheless, Charlie, appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks for taking some time out of your night.
Yeah, first of all, I gotta apologize to everybody. We're an hour late. I was in Owensboro. I was doing a little business. Working out a deal. Fixed to go start working for my motor builder in a few weeks. I was up there talking to him, eating with my dad, discussing PRI plans. And yeah, like I said, and when I got here and we were supposed to, my computer was up and running at 6:45, but it's about 5-6 years old. So you just got to give it a minute. Got to give it a little love. But yeah, we are here, and like I said, I'd like to apologize to all the fans.
No, it's not a problem. It's actually our first ever, not our first ever, but it's first time in 2 years since we've done a Facebook Live podcast. The most original people know that they are watching that I started my podcast on Facebook. We jumped over to YouTube, but now we're back. We're also going to be broadcasting on YouTube. We're doing both now, but pretty cool deal. So Charlie, you're coming off Gateway. I think it was probably one of the highlights of your career so far.
Now, most definitely
I
was the biggest spotlight, at least of my career. It was a very gate opening. The gateway. We're in St. Louis, the gateway to the south, gateway to the west, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was my gateway into the opening of my following throughout my career.
Now I gotta ask, out of all like everything that's happened the past like 4 or 5 days now since your crash, how many followers did you end up getting?
I've had at least over 25,000 all through Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. Just I've had at least 25,000 people. At least click the follow button, the add button. Just over the since the flip happened.
hmm So obviously getting all them fans, kind of introducing yourself. But before Gateway, who is Charlie? Before all the Gateway happened, who is Charlie Medford?
I'm just a kid from the small town in Kentucky called Belton. I've been racing. 2023 will be my 10th year racing. I've came up racing go karts, won a few national championships in those. Moved up to a B modified at the fresh age of 11, and at the end of that year when I was 12, and at the end of 2018 I moved up to a UMP open wheel, and then from there on I've been running UMP A-mods.
Absolutely. So racing down to Kentucky, where's been your home tracks? What tracks you been hitting down there?
My home tracks will really would be Cedar Ridge Speedway, Western Kentucky Speedway,
Mhm.
Clarksville, Windy Hollow, Paducah. Those tracks are really what I call my home tracks. What I'm really closest to.
Absolutely. So Paducah Speedway, I've heard of. Where is Cedar Ridge by any chance? That's
Cedar
new to me.
Ridge. Cedar Ridge, that's in a Morgantown, Kentucky. It's a small local track. It had some nationals dates. I think back in a 2018. Clarksville, it's in Clarksville, Tennessee. Western Kentucky, it's in Madisonville, Kentucky, and Windy Hollow is in Owensboro, Kentucky.
hmm So now get to where we might as well jump right into it because this is the main reason we're here. We're rolling into Gateway. First of all, how did you like get on the list to be invited to Gateway?
Well, I had some connections through Mackie Flood. He was big into go karts. He's I raced go karts in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. A For a few years, 2016, 2017. Really that really sparked really the driving in my career. That I showed a lot of talent to people. And Mackie Flood, he prepared the racetracks for the Maxis series, and he seen my talent then, and I went back down to the Big O tribute. It was a go kart race in Blacksburg, South Carolina, and I ran it. And he was like, "Man, what's your opinion on the dome?" And I was like, "Man, it's my dream race to win. I'd love to go there." He's like, "Well, man, I could probably get you in." So Mackey Flood and Lane Penley, they're the two reasons I really got to the dome. And and as soon as I got invited, I've told everybody, like, I could tell you exactly where I was. I was sitting in the concession stand line at Windy Hollow Speedway. My mom called me and she said, "Have you seen your phone?" I was like, "No, I haven't." She's like, "Go check Facebook." And I hung up on her because I knew exactly what she was going to say. And I checked and I was top of the list. No, I was third. I was third on the list, the 43rd pick. And I, tears were shed because it was such a big accomplishment for me at the time. I'm not really a big time racer. Really just local. It's just a mom and pop team. Me and my dad, we do everything out in the garage through the week and everything at the racetrack. I've not really, had no spotlight. I've been really competitive down here, and they, won some races, got lucky enough, and I've had lucky enough, have people like Tyler Nicely, Kyle Steffens,
Hmm.
really good talent in the modified division. Nick Hoffman, they stepped in and helped me a little bit, but besides that, I mean, I've done everything myself, me and Dad.
Hmm. Absolutely. So for Gateway, you have to, so it's invite only.
Yes, sir.
How does that work?
So modifieds are invite only. You have to get invited just to show up. Late models, they're open invitation, but there were so many of them that you had to be selected. There was 114 late models selected. I don't know the actual number that went down there,
I
but
think there was
yeah,
100. There was 100. There was way over 100. I don't know what it
yeah,
was. It
but
was a lot.
yeah, yeah, there was a lot of late models there. That's a late model event. They try to add midgets, but the midgets wasn't drawing in much of a crowd because it's a late model event. It's UMP territory.
Hmm. So it's invite only. So what's the criteria to invite? Do they have to know who you are? Do you have to win a track championship somewhere? Big event? What's the stipulation to get
I think it's just
invited?
really I think it's really just the who's who of modified racing. There's different sanctions. You have IMCA, USMTS, WISSOTA. There was all types of modified sanctions there. You had Ricky Thornton and
Hmm.
Grabowski from IMCA. You had Peterson from WISSOTA. You had a crap ton of UMP guys. I know there's probably USMTS guys there that I'm missing, but I'm not really familiar with that. I'm just familiar with UMP because that's what I run.
Hmm. And of course, Kenny Wallace, which we'll get to that in a little bit. So you get invited to go to the dome. What was the preparation getting to head to the dome? What was that like?
See, I got my my primary car, my elite. See that's my winning car. That's the car that I race in all the time. And I just think it's it was too nice of a car to take up there and destroy because it's rough. It's a rough area kind of. There's going to be a lot of carnage going on at the dome. So I'm like, I'm going to be a little bit smarter and take a car that ain't worth as much. That ain't gonna really hurt us in the long run if we do tear it up, which we did. We about junked the car, but yeah, we had a guy around here by the name of Jared Phelps, which he's helped us out in the past. When we started getting into big car racing, he helped us out a ton, and he helped us out there. He sold us his car. And we took his chance and we took that car up there to the dome and instead of taking a $30,000 roller, we took a 4,500.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty big difference, but it's still a good car, and I'm really thankful for Jared letting me take that car.
Hmm. So the preparation going to the dome, you make it to the dome. First impressions of the place. What was your thoughts?
Which I've been every year. And I've been
Hmm.
since the first year it was held, and I mean, every time I walk through those black curtains for the first time, I just get chills all through my body because it's one of those deals like it's like an MLB player, like a kid that wants to be an MLB player walking in to Wrigley Field, or
Hmm.
like an NBA player walking into the Oracle Arena for the first time. It's that atmosphere, it's that setting, it's really the deep down feel that you get when you walk in and you as soon as you do, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want my passion. You feel the passion for it.
Absolutely. And I mean, there was I don't know how many thousands of fans were there, but the atmosphere is incredible.
Yeah, I looked up from heck. I was sitting in, on the back stretch, after I got out the car, and I just looked around, and all the seats were filled, and it was really just a breathtaking moment. Just not just as a race car driver, but as a fan, seeing that event succeed. Cody, he's done an awesome job with it. Cody Summers, the promoter, he's really took that event and made it really what it is. And the first year they had it, everybody knew if this event sticks around, it's going to be one of the biggest races of all time, and it is. You
Oh
can't
yeah.
really you can't go anywhere in the country right now and see a late model race indoors.
No, exactly.
And,
Or UMP modified race for that matter.
and the wildest thing about it, it's inside an NFL stadium. And
Mm-hmm.
is it inside,
Yeah.
an Expo arena like the Tulsa Shootout and Chili Bowl is? It's inside an NFL stadium. There has been, tons of NFL games played there, and it's wild. I'm surprised, they haven't really done it at Lucas Oil yet. With the midgets and sprint car stuff that's all in Indianapolis.
I mean, it's tough to say. I think the funding, if it had to be out of the funding, I would think the basis. Because I know, I'm sure the people that have created the Gateway event, that's definitely not a cheap bill that they have to pay to run that event.
But what see as a I like on iRacing I like to promote all out events. But you're gonna have, if you put the purse up, you're gonna have the cars. If
Hmm.
it's a badass venue, you're gonna have badass drivers, and
Yep.
that's the deal right there. You see the Gateway Dirt Nationals, and you see the Dome. You see the drivers, and then you see the Dome drivers, like the Tyler Carpenters.
Hmm.
You see, Tyler Carpenter, he don't really have the funds like I do to
Hmm.
go, chase the money and chase the points, the World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil. That's pretty much his time to shine. He goes to the Dome and he puts on a show.
Which he
Everybody
did.
loves him for that. And he actually, there was an interview with him and somebody else, and they wasn't a fond of what I did. And Tyler Carpenter gained a lot of respect from me because he's saying, what I did was the right move. That was my only shot. That interview was the only shot for me to get my name known that weekend, and I just took the chances and made it work. And look at me now. I mean, I'm sitting here. If I didn't do that interview, I wouldn't be on this podcast. I wouldn't have sold all those shirts, and I wouldn't be getting the sponsors that I'm getting, which I'm thankful for the sponsors that I've got right here. Twisted Tech, they're one of the people that have sponsored me so far. And they Pit Lizard Pit Lights, they also came on board, and it's kind of funny, because they reached me out. They're like, dude, with the nickname you have, we gotta sponsor you in some way. They call me the Pit Lizard Pimp. So it's kind of, you gotta take the opportunity where it's laid.
Why do they call you that?
I mean, it's kind of obvious. I mean, the Pit Lizard Pimp. It's one of those deals where you see it happening, and you just got to call it the way you see it. Like an umpire. Call your balls and call your strikes. You got call it the way the eye sees.
Okay, I guess so. So now you're going into the dome. You've got your car unloaded, all that, getting ready for the first time out on the track, first hot lap session. What's your thoughts?
I,
Going
I was I
going
was
down going down the street and then rolling into the arena. What's your thoughts?
which I've drove down that street before, because every year that I go to the dome, it always gets more intense. I went and spectated. I went into the pits. I went and I got to drive Tanner English's car out
Hmm.
in 2019. And then I went and got the pit help for Kyle Steffens in 2021, because 2020 got canceled due to COVID. And then in 2022, I got to actually, race. So maybe next year I'll get to, race and maybe, make the show.
Hmm. But nonetheless, getting to go out there and roll onto the track for the first time. I'm sure you were you nervous? Were you excited? What,
I,
what
I
was what
was
was the
I wasn't as
process?
nervous as I was thankful. I was thankful for everybody, giving me the opportunity. I was thankful for Cody for inviting me. Thankful for my dad. Really, really getting me to that point, and thankful for all the fans. All the people that supported me getting up to that point. Even the ones before now. I mean, it's just it was a very breathtaking opportunity, and I just try to make the best of it.
Hmm. So now we'll get to it. Might as well. We get to the we're getting to qualifying night, and you're in the Conci, I believe it is, correct?
Yeah,
And
it's the B
so
man.
you're in the B main. I don't know if this is gonna work on the live. Um, but here you are. Whoa, a little loud. Okay, what was going on here? Because you were ripping the cushion. You
Yeah, I
were
was I was
you
up
were doing all you
top.
could. You were
I was
dive
I
bombing.
was Yeah, I was up top, and I see the steering felt, a little funny, a little, because we just replaced the whole right front. I don't know if there was something wrong with the power steering, but the steering just didn't feel right when I was out on the racetrack. But I was just going to try to manhandle it. And I mean, if you can't tell, skinny arms here, so there's not much manhandling there. But I was coming off the corner, I got sideways. About that time, the wheel just kind of stuck right, and that one car, Chase Allen, he kind of I really had nowhere to go. About that time, I turned right and pushed me up into the fence, and then I caught the fence and just had all that momentum transfer and just rolled me over.
Yeah, and so that's your first time ever being upside down, correct?
Yeah, which props to the track crew. I mean, if you can stop a race car from going through the fence, with that much force, I mean, you got to get some props there.
You hit the fence. I remember Dustin Jarrett saying it when you hit the fence, like you hit it just perfect. They didn't have to do any fence repair to it.
Yeah, and then
Because
later
because
on
you
through the night, they wasn't so lucky, but yeah,
no, because usually when you hit the fence at the dome, you break the fence.
yeah, oh, most definitely. Because I mean, it's just a temporary track. That what makes it so cool. You don't get to run on this all year. It's a once a year deal.
Okay, so you're upside down. You're waiting for safety crew to get to you. Now, what do you think?
I
What's
was
going through
like,
your mind?
I said,
Uh-oh.
well, what is going on? Why am I upside down?
Yeah.
I was like, I need to get out. I need to get out.
Mhm. It
And
happened so quick, didn't it?
see, one of the funny thing is, like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just sitting there, and I was kind of just, my hands never left the wheel, so I was sitting there just holding on to the wheel. So and then 5 seconds later, the track crew comes up. They're like, "Man, you're leaking fuel. You probably need to get out." And about that time, I ripped my belts off and started trying to climb out. I was like, and I got stuck. I was like, "Hey, what? Kind of help? I don't know what I'm doing." So then I got unstuck and got out. And the funniest part is, I never took the steering wheel off. The steering wheel stayed on. It hasn't came off the car, I don't think.
Absolutely. So now I want to ask here. So now we were talking about the shirts earlier. You get out of the car, and the first thing Blake Anderson comes right over to you with the microphone, and this is the first thing you say.
Yeah, I was, I got out the car, I did my lane frost after taking the ride, and then, I kind of had to get the crowd going a little bit, and I had to take my helmet off. I was like, I got to do something here to, put a good impression. I've always said it when like something happens on the road, like somebody stops on the road and somebody like wrecks, and they, somebody gets pulled over. I'm like, dude, you can't park there. So what I did, I was like, it really didn't cross my mind. I kind of just came out my mouth, which everything does. Like you can ask anybody, that right there is that's me. That ain't an act. Nobody told me to say that. That's the true me. And you can walk up to my best friends and they'll be like, "Why did he say that?" Because it's me. So I got out the car and what's his name was sitting there. I was like, "All right, St. Louis." And that's the funny thing. Nobody knew what I was going to say, but I counted
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
and I just kind of making it up like it's anticipation. It caught their attention. They didn't know what I was going to say, so it kind of just made the whole situation a little bit funnier.
the interview made everything funnier. Like, I think out of all my time, 'cause I've been covering racing for like 3 years now. But 2020, I first started, and I think out of all my time of being at the racetrack, this is the first time I've seen somebody get out of the car and go nuts when they flip their race car.
Well,
I was
it's the
like,
dome.
this kid is he's going crazy over flipping this. This is awesome.
It's the dome. Like you could sit and get mad and pound. I qualified like third from last because I was having carburetor troubles, but I wasn't mad. I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna have to cowboy up, nut up or shut up, and just pass everybody. I wasn't gonna be able to just sit there and be mad and pout about it. I was at the dome. There's people out there that should be coming to the dome, but they didn't get the opportunity to. So I was like, I could take this opportunity and I could be mad, but no, I'm gonna be optimistic that I'm here, and I'm gonna make I'm gonna make it worth everybody's while.
Absolutely. And then you do the outstanding Kenny Wallace impression. Now, I don't know
See,
if you want.
that's the funny part.
I will give you the opportunity to do it if you want. If you don't have to, I will show it.
That wasn't after Kenny Wallace. That's my own deal.
Oh,
But I was taking after Kenny Wallace by doing something like that. Me and Kenny, we're real tight friends. I love Kenny. He helps me out. He always gives me motivation, and he called me this week. Just telling me about you're gonna get fame, you're gonna get hate. Just don't worry about him. He knows something about fame, And he's like, there's going to be people that just don't like what you're doing, but you just ain't got to worry about them. You're doing your own thing, and that's great. You're being you. And if they don't like who you are, that's their problem. So Kenny Wallace, he's a really good guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I support him. He supports me, and and it's funny because we both are on Race Ranch. So like, if you go and buy one of my shirts, you need to go over there and support him as well.
Which is the race ranch deal, correct?
Yes, sir.
So getting in with that, tell me a little bit about Race Ranch, because for the people that aren't familiar, and like how you got in with that.
Race Ranch is a clothing website. They sell a lot of clothes. They're the Longhorn chassis. They do all their stuff. Stormy Scott. I don't know if they do Johnny or yet. Turbo, Ricky Thornton. They do a lot of big names. But we was at Clarksville for their summer nationals race, and we was messing with Matt James. It was like, hey man, you want to make us some shirts? He's like, yeah, we can do that. And I've been to a Race Ranch ever since 2020. And from there on, we've just been trying to make badass shirts and make them sell. We've been doing that.
Mm-hmm. So the impression, back to it.
Yeah,
Can we
I was.
can we get it?
Yeah, I was like, the dome's gonna be rough, and I'm like, you know, I I did the track walk, and the track was like really wet. And I was like, so I walked over to Josh James and Ryan Roberts, the photographers, and I guess Jerry, the
The
announcer, he was
announcer.
down there, and he watched it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get up to that corner. Wah, bow, wah, bounce off the cushion a few
There
times.
it is.
And so yeah, but that's my own thing. Wallace feels that woo 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 woo. But I'm on the chip a little bit more. I'm a little more, a little bit more rowdy. He's down there on the bottom. Woo 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 woo. And I'm wah rah rah wah bah rah wow wow wow. You know what I'm saying?
How can you not like this kid? I mean, come on now. We got 50 something people watching. You can't. How can you not like this kid? Oh man, Charlie, I tell you what. Oh, I didn't know if I was gonna get that out of you tonight.
Oh yeah. If you ask, you receive. Like that's what I'm saying. There was a lot of people that like text me. It was like, man, I didn't know if I should come up there and ask you for a picture. I didn't know if you was busy or not. I'm like, listen, anytime I'm at a racetrack and I'm not doing something to my car, or I'm not, yeah, heck, even if I'm talking to somebody, yeah, I'm going to give you a picture, autograph. I'll do anything. Like, I'm a people person. I was that fan, and I understand, some fans can be rude, but all at the end of the day, they respect you,
Mm-hmm.
and they like you as a driver.
Yeah.
And I know there's drivers out there that don't respect their fans, and that's what's really hurting the sport. Like, people can say, that interview hurt the sport, or streaming services hurt the sport. I think what hurts the sport the most is drivers not respecting their fans.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you there. So then you get to announce a race, which I'm an announcer. I'm a sprint car announcer, and I have announced it a
Can
Sunday
you
dirt
do
track.
can you do a good as Johnny Gibson impression as I can?
No, I don't got a high pitched voice.
Come on. Let's get a World of Outlaws 4 wide.
I can do a Shane Andrews one.
I don't know who that is. I'm not.
Shane Andrews, the Super Dirt Car Series, the big block
Oh
round
yeah,
fights.
See, I can do it pretty good.
I'll just do one of his lines that everybody will know. Everybody is commenting on our Facebook Live that they've ordered your shirts. I want one. My mom's watching. She probably can hear me. She 100% can hear me. I want one. I want one, boys. I told her.
Let me pull it up on my phone so I can see the chat myself. Yeah.
Well, here's my impression for you. And as Shane Andrews would say, fantastic.
That's right.
After his 4Y, he would say he says fantastic every time, and then he mentions the speedway because they are going nuts. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
So
let me get the chat up so we can, I get maybe we can do a little.
we could definitely do a Q&A if anybody's
yeah.
got questions for this kid. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. All right,
We got a lot of people watching.
Yeah, I could do a pretty good Johnny Gibson impression for you.
Oh God.
Yeah. Give me a racetrack. Give me a racetrack.
Gateway, the Dome.
That ain't a sprint car. That ain't a World of Outlaws track.
Okay, Knoxville.
All right, Knoxville Speedway, you one of the best. You got them four abreast, often attended, never duplicated. It's the greatest show on dirt. The City to Drinks World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. And the music plays, and you see.
See, I had said this in the beginning of the podcast. Who knows what's going to happen in
Hey,
this?
speaking of Jerry, he's in the he's in the chat. He's watching.
Okay. So Jerry, you just met. I don't know if you just got in here, but he just did his impression for everybody again. But
I also see somebody watching Scotty Owens. You know, he's a big help. He helps me a lot through. He's helped me a lot the past year. He's done a lot for me, and you know, he's a really good guy. You know, and you know, he races himself, and his crew chief Justin Corsi, he helps me a lot. He does all the setup on my car. But besides that, I mean, they're the great people. They're family. You know, we love the Owens folks and Corsi.
Michael Boggs is watching too.
Yeah,
He took photos of that wreck.
he took some nice photos of the car going upside down. You know, Michael, I've always been a fan of his work. You know, a lot of drivers, I don't know if they see what I see, but like as a race fan, you know that I'm a race fan in myself. I'm not just a race car driver. Like I'm a fan of the photographers like Michael Boggs, Ryan Roberts, Josh James, Dirtman. They do great work, and I love it. You know, they do great work, and that's they're a part of the sport as well as the announcers. You know, Ben Shelton, old Jerry, Dustin Jarrett. You know, the late great Rick Eshelman. You know,
Yep.
Johnny Gibson. They're great people. They're a part of the sport. They're what makes this sport so great, and all the fans. The fans are what makes this sport great as well. You know, it's a team effort. It's not just the drivers. It's not just the racetracks. It's not just the promoters. It's a team sport. The fans what makes it is. The streaming services what makes it is. The daggone you know, the announcers. You know, heck, the crew members. They're a part of it too. You know, everybody makes this sport what it is.
So did you picture at all that you would be going into that getting to announce at the dome?
You know, if you told me that, I probably would have smacked you silly. I'd be like, "Don't give me that hope. Don't give me that hope."
Well, so you got to announce with Jerry, Ben, and Dustin.
Yeah, and like
What was
those
that
people right there,
like?
they're my heroes. They're like I told them, they are my heroes, and like I really do. You know, they are you know what makes the sport what it is, and it really hit me where because it was funny because I was trying to get their attention, so maybe they'd say something about me on the air. So I took a video and sent it to Ben Shelton because he's been texting me about the dome. And when he texted me for the first time, I was like, "Holy crap!" Ben Shelton's texting me. That's wild. So
I can relate. I've had Ben
yeah,
Shelton text me before too, and
and then
it's pretty cool.
he texted me. I was like, so I'm like, well, he already knows who I am. So I'm gonna send him a video, see if he'd, you know, open it. And I sent him a video when I was down on the dome floor. I took a video and I videoed the booth, and then I turned it around and videoed, and I waved me sitting in the car. So I was like, yeah, I said, "Hey Ben, how you doing?" And he put it on the broadcast. He's like, he just sent me a video of him on the grid. Nobody has ever done that in their racing career, and I don't think they would have known what would have happened a few hours later.
Okay, Jerry Van Sickle just commented. First of all, shout out to you for tuning in. When Charlie is finished racing, he would make a great announcer.
I already announced. Come on, Jerry. I thought you knew that. Heck, I announce at the local dirt track all the time. But yeah, you know, I've always, you know, dreamed of announcing. you know, if racing don't work out for me, you know, maybe I can have a backing in announcing. Like my family even tells me
Hmm.
I need to go to broadcasting school so I can have
That's what I'm doing.
like yeah, exactly.
That's my goal. That's my dream. I would love to go work at the Dome. You kidding me? That'd be
They're
awesome.
like, everybody's like, you have a career in this. You're good. I'm like, I like doing it. It helps the sport. Excuse me. It helps the sport out. You know, if you have a dual announcer in the booth,
Mhm.
how is that going to do anything? But if you got, old Jerry, Ben, and Dustin up there, that they make a single file right around the bottom race exciting. It's the announcers that get the people on their feet. You
Mhm.
know, if you're throwing slide jobs for 10 laps and the announcer's like, "Here we go, slide job into one," that's not nothing. If you got the announcers up on their feet, it's going to be a good show. And, and it goes back to me saying, you know, announcers help the sport more than they think.
Absolutely. All right. So here's a little tongue twister, kind of a tough one for you. I like to ask this to everybody I have on the show. It really makes people think. If there is a dirt racing Mount Rushmore, which there's four heads on Mount Rushmore, who are the four names?
You can ask this to anybody. You can ask it to a sprint car guy. They're going to say Steve Kinzer, Donnie Schatz, Doug Wolfgang. You ask a late model guy, they're going to go JD, Scott Bloomquist, all those. You ask a modified guy, they're going to go Nick Hoffman, Mike Harrison, Jimmy Owens. But like, that's the thing. You can't diagnose every, like, just all in one. You got to have more of a selection. You got to have a class wise, but and it don't matter. We're all great. Everybody should be on the Mount Rushmore because we're all dirt racers. It doesn't change. It doesn't change if, somebody has more fans or somebody's won more races. We're all dirt racers at heart.
Okay, so we got a couple questions here in chat. First of all, Devlin Caldill, sorry, that's a hard name to say, said, "I've always said he is Kenny Wallace's long lost child."
Yeah, Wallace, he was talking to me. I don't know if it was Monday or when we was at the racetrack. He's like, "You're the next Kenny Wallace. You're Kenny Wallace Jr." And I thought that was funny because the career that he's had, the people he's inspired. It really does make me feel good. They call him a friend, and him say that about me.
Dustin Roberts said, "You've made a great impression for kids at your age racing. How old were you when you first started?"
When I started racing,
Yeah.
I was 5 years old, and I started at a local racetrack called TNN Raceway, racing go-karts.
So yeah, again, anybody that's in here, if you want to ask questions, now is your time. So 5 years old, you started racing go-karts. Now you're 16 years old, making a name for yourself, having people contact you every day, doing podcasts, racing the dome. It's got to be a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. If there was anybody that told me that I'd be right where I am right now a week ago, I wouldn't know what to say because this is my dream. I just want to make a name for myself in this sport that we're in.
Okay, Clayton Cycle said, "Are you coming anywhere around Iowa in 2023?"
If I get a ride, yes. If I don't, the travel, the cost, the expense. All three of us were working pretty hefty jobs now, but I'd love to run Marshalltown or Boone. I'd love to go up there for like super nationals or race up there. Like I watch it all the time. Marshalltown's one of the most bad aid tracks there is. I watch videos there and it's like, holy crap, why can't we have something like this around the house? I mean, all I've seen is just great racing from it.
Kyler Smith said he's liking the hat. I'm not sure who that is. You probably
yeah.
do.
Twisted Tech, they got some good scooters. They're big in the electric world. They was at the dome. They had the iRacing stand and the pits, and they're good people. If they support me, I need to support them.
No, this is. I will say, everybody that is tuning in, this is our first time doing a live podcast like this. So if you are new, give a like. We would appreciate it. We'll have Charlie back on in the future. I promise you that. But I'm sorry because I'm reading chat. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this.
I wonder
any announcer is going to try to announce a name right and give it a shot. That's what I've been told. If you can get it, just take a guess, and the driver themselves will come and tell you. Well, this person's name is Sanja Yagubovic, I think. And she said you'd be amazing at Boone. She thinks that you would be a great racer.
Any track that has a cushion, I'm gonna run it. I love running the top side, high, wide, and handsome. I mean, that's where I make a name for myself.
Jerry Van Sickle, Charlie Medford, thanks for the Marshalltown Speedway shout out. Let me see what I can work on. Isn't that the track he works at?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Jerry, we was up there talking about IMCA racing, and I'd love to. If you can get me an IMCA mod, a street car, IMCA street stocks do not get the recognition they deserve. They are the most bad street stocks out there. They are they're up there with any high class racing. But yeah, I'd love to go out there and run IMCA stuff.
Charlie Robert Burrett asked, "What would be your long-term goal in racing?"
I want to for sure, be a super late model driver one day. Be a house driver for a chassis shop. Be a top name, or just be on a top name team and run the Lucas Oil or the World of Outlaws schedule.
They're asking for it again. Randy Miller, what does it sound like when you were ripping the cushion?
Well, it just depends. If you're on like a super heavy racetrack, you know, you go off in the corner. Wow! You got that left front in the air because, you know, it's heavy. You're on the throttle. But, you know,
I had known going into this podcast this was going to be a good one, and
but,
you
you
have
know,
not disappointed.
if it's slick up to a cushion, you go off in the corner. Wow! Get a little skewed out, as my buddy Cole Hilton would say.
Oh man, Charlie, I can't tell you. This is definitely something that I've never had a driver do. Make an impression like that before. I think if there was like a racing movie and they needed a sound effect, they should just call you to do it. Like, they don't even need the motors; just have you come do it.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good at making sounds. You know, I'm a loud person. Yeah, I kind of take after one of my favorite announcers. You know, you know, my buddy Jake Shown. You know, he passed away this year. He announced at Windy Hollow Speedway. He always, you know, had something smart to say. Well, not smart, but had something clever to say, or, you know, he made the situation brighter. You know, I really, after he passed, I really thought about, you know, I he made the racing. He made my announcing career what it is. He was the first person really, you know, hey, get on the mic. I was like, well, yeah, but he really, you know, gave me, you know, that start that kind of, you know, if you know, he made me feel the way, you know, I feel about making everybody happy. Maybe I should do that. You know, maybe I should, you know, make some goofy sounds, or, you know, just like I did the interview. You know, I just made the crowd go wild. You know, that's what he always did. He made the crowd happy. You know, that I kind of take after him. You know, old Jake Shown making the crowd happy.
We got people watching in from New England. Just so you know.
Ain't
So
it
that's cool.
like 5 o'clock over there in the morning?
No, it's so with England it's like 5 hours ahead, so I think it's like midnight. But nonetheless,
They need to go to bed.
They
As my buddy Dale Ward says, go to bed. You know,
go to
it's a
bed.
little late. Well, no, because it would no, it'd be Thursday for them. Yeah, they might be traveling to PRI. They might, you know, have a flight early in the morning. They might just be staying up.
So you're heading to PRI. Where can people see you at PRI?
I'm gonna be walking around, you know, trying to get some sponsor deals. You know, talking to my sponsors now, talking to associates that I represent as of right now. You know, trying to, you know, make deals and, you know, purchase some things. You know, I seen in the chat. Heck, I see somebody right now. Philip Oakley. Heck,
Okay, New England is Boston. We made a mistake. This is what happens if you put kids on a podcast. New England's
that's right.
Boston.
But yeah, you know, I see a few people. I just joined the chat. Philip Oakley. He just, you know, he's fixing to employ me, you know, as a worker, you know, as an employee at, you know, he builds my engines. He does great work. You know, that's the only motor I really want to run. You know, great motor. And Justin Coursey, I was talking about him earlier. You know, he really helps me out. You know, he's a big supporter of me, and he, you know, Dig City. You can get with him for your race car and consulting, and, you know, it made me, you know, a heck of a lot faster this year.
He just said hey to you. Nonetheless, so you wrecked your car. You had the interview of the lifetime. You get back to the trailer. How bad was the car?
It destroyed the front clip. But you know who else I seen in this chat? Brian Barber, the dude that made that that race car. Who built it. So I might have to holler at him after a while. You know, Brian Barber with Bandit Race Cars to put a clip on that thing. Corsi, he just asked who's my manager. Peyton Owens, that's my manager. You know, get with her. You know, for your hero cards and you know, autograph sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that wants that, there you go. Yeah. So the front clip's destroyed. Is the car fixable? Should I ask?
I don't know if it's really fixable, but we're really gonna try to fix it and get it back going, because before we even went to the home, we're gonna say, yeah, we're gonna make that car B mod. We're gonna put a B mod motor in it, and we was gonna make it a good enough B mod motor. So if I blew my motor up, I can just put that B mod motor in and, you know, still run the A mod full time.
I got you. So the car might be fixable. That's the positive thing.
Yeah, we're for sure gonna try. But if not, I mean, at least I had a good time in it.
It sure did. Um, so let's see. Get a couple more questions here before we wrap things up. We got over 100 people watching, which is pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Let's see. Cars, yep, that is true. Cars can review the place. Glad you're okay. Yep. Andrew Littleton said, "Hey, you can't park there."
No, sir. No, like listen to me. You know, this is the deal. That's not a parking zone. Okay. Absolutely no parking on the back stretch of the dome.
Yeah, no, for sure. So any other uh like dream goals you? Would you ever like want to race a sprint car or hop in a big block modified, anything like that?
I'd accept the opportunity. It'd just be something, put on my resume that I've done. But my biggest goal is, like I said in the Kessinger interview, I want to win the PDC and I want to win the dome.
I think somebody should. I'm from the Northeast. I think somebody should try to put you in a car for Super Dirt Week.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I like that. I like how y'all do y'all style up there. It reminds me kind of like a go-kart race. Track gets super slick, and you just got to be real,
Mhm.
easy. And that's what a go-kart is, and that's what I was good in there for about the first 5 years that I raced.
Absolutely. Final call for questions. So, Charlie, I'm sure there's a lot of people you want to give a shout out to and thank you, give thanks to. I'll let you do that right now because there's probably a lot of them watching.
Yeah, Twisted Tech, they sponsored me earlier this year at the Dome. They gave me a free scooter. Oakley Motorsports, they build great motors. That's the only motor I've ever ran since I've gotten to a full bone. Like I said, our Dig City with Justin Coursey, he put really good tune on my car, and he made me really quick, and made me very very competitive around home. And when we travel, he normally, I call him, he gives me the right call, and we got there and we stay competitive throughout the night. And Scotty Owens, he's done a crazy amount for my career, and his family. They've really just took me and dad, mom under their wing, and treated us like we was their own. And then we, Race Ranch, raceranchwear.com. They sell all my shirts, and they do good work, and they're great people. Matt James and them. Lizard Lip Pit Lights, they sponsored me after the Dome, after what I've done. The Pit Lizard Pimp needs some Lizard Lip Pit Lights. And a Benton Barbershop, Quality Towing, Owensboro Health Club Minus Clinic. Like I said, Jared Phelps, he did a big part about the Dome. And my buddy Graydon Hall, he sponsored me some tires and stuff to go to the Dome. He went up there and actually pit help for me, and it's wild, the relationships you can have through this wild sport we call racing.
Absolutely. You're 100% 100% spot on. Charlie, I got a couple things I want to go through quick because we got like 110 people watching. And a lot of them, I'm sure, are new to, unfamiliar with me. I'm a 17-year-old kid from upstate New York. I'm an announcer, race chaser, podcaster, all that, and more. It was pretty It was actually, I would just reach out to you online the other day, and you said yeah, and I was like, heck yeah, we're gonna have Charlie come on. I'm almost at 500 subscribers, so everybody that is watching, if you could please head over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me, and I would love to get a little bit of plug there. And also check me out on social media. Just search up my name, and you can find me. And I'm sure, hopefully, down the road, me and Charlie meet up. I mean, my dream would be to announce the Dome one day, or work at the Dome and do something like that, like a Blake Anderson. Hopefully, it's not the same situation though. I don't want to come interview you on the backstretch to say you can't park there.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it was one of those deals. I seen the opportunity. I went forward with it, but like I said, I got to thank all everybody that has helped me so far. Everybody that's bought a T-shirt. You're the real heroes of this sport. You really support the drivers, and you really push them to be what they actually are.
Absolutely. And one more time, I will take a look at. We'll pull them up one more time. How much longer are they up for sale? Can I
Actually,
ask?
pre-order ends tonight at midnight, so this is the last night to go pre-order a shirt from Race Ranch.
And will they be here before Christmas?
They are shipping out this week, like Sunday.
Okay, my mom's watching. Please go order me one. Christmas present, please. Nonetheless, Charlie, it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna give I'm gonna give you one last opportunity for everybody that's in chat watching. But nonetheless, this has been another Out of the Fast Lane podcast. If you missed everything, if you missed anything that we have talked about in the podcast, it will be up on YouTube. It will be on Facebook for replay, so you can go check that out. And again, last call for questions. Uh, so what's next for you, Charlie?
What's next? We're gonna try to get my elite together and go to the we're gonna try to go to Volusia and go down there. But what really strikes me is just the opportunities that I've really got. And thanks to everybody. Thanks to the Lord. For giving me this opportunity. And, one last time before we get off here, go check out the social medias. Charlie Mefford Racing on a Facebook, Twitter, Charlie Mefford 1, Instagram, and TikTok. Charging_Charlie. And don't forget to go support him right here. He gave me opportunity to come on his podcast. He supports me. You guys should go support him.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. And I think if you do come to Volusia, please let me know. We'll meet up. I'll be
Yeah,
there.
I should be. I
I'll be
should be
there.
going to Volusia either way. We always go. It's kind of our family vacation every
Mhm.
year. I mean, we can't even go on a family vacation without being racing related. Racing that's our lively blood.
That's me too. My parent we're the same way. My parents, even if they book a cruise in August and we're going down to Florida, we're at Daytona usually right there and then watching the races. If February when it's like a family time to get away, we're at Volusia and Daytona and all that. So I can 100% agree with you there. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Bedford, driver of the UMP Modified that took a wild ride at Gateway this past week, and I'm sure you all know him, you all love him, and make sure you continue to support him in his career. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Even if it's it could be an announcing career, it could be a racing career. Hopefully, it's both. I'd love to see. Maybe they could. My thing is, maybe they could put a mic. I don't know if that's a good idea. Put a mic with you while you're racing, like
Well, I mean,
a clip on.
um, I mean, they mic everybody up. NBA, MLB.
NFL. Yep.
I mean, Jerry, he has a connection with Flow Racing. I think we should at least try it one time.
A clip on. Okay. Okay.
I mean, they
And
do it in NASCAR. They have the microphone set up, but I don't know how it'd be. But maybe be some explicits from some drivers. They get a little hot headed. But I think it'd be pretty cool if we did that.
absolutely. One last thing, because this is going to be a debate by a lot of people. Who's your NFL team?
I don't watch NFL really.
Oh boy.
I'm a big college sports guy though. Big college sports
Okay,
guy.
so college football team?
Go Vols, baby. Go Big Orange.
Okay.
Team me
Well,
up. Team me up.
all right. Well, everybody that's tuning in on Facebook, my name is Brady Hauser, the host of the Out of the Fast Lane podcast, sponsored by Parts Companies LLC and Swagger Factory Apparel. I thank you all for tuning into this live. This is the first time I've been live doing a podcast ever. So minus when I first started, but this is the first time like live on Zoom. So this has been pretty cool. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you give my stuff all a follow. I believe next week I guess I'll say the name. I can't confirm that it's going to happen, but possibly Carson Macedo might be coming on. So there's a good chance we might be able to hear from him. Might be able to check him out and talk with him live on the podcast. But nonetheless, Charlie, I appreciate you coming on. I'll keep you on here a little bit. And everybody that's been tuning in on Facebook, I appreciate you. And we will see you next time. And yeah, again, thanks for coming. And support those who support racing. We're going to head off now. Adios. All right, we're still live on YouTube. So everybody that's tuning in on YouTube, I hope everybody's enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell. You don't want to miss an upload when it comes out. Charlie, once again, I'll let you plug your social media here.
Yeah,
And
Charlie Mefford Racing on Facebook, charging_Charlie on Instagram and TikTok, and then a Charlie Mefford 1 on Twitter.
all right.
I didn't use Twitter before this weekend, but you best believe I'm using it after today. After this weekend, I've had 2,000, almost 3,000 followers, since that weekend happened. So, if I got a decent following, I probably need to post on it a little bit more.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie, I appreciate you coming on the show. Again, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. You won't miss an upload. Click the notification bell every time we upload. You will get the notification. We're on the road to 500. Hopefully we hit it after tonight. But again, Charlie, thanks for coming on. I'm gonna keep you here afterwards. We'll talk a little bit, and then I'll let you go. But of course, again, Charlie Mefford, driver of the UMP Modified. It took a while ride at Gateway, and he definitely made a name for himself, and made a lot of people interested in who he is. And I'm definitely interested. I'm a fan now. I'm buying one of your shirts. I'm as a media person, you're not supposed to, but I think for your sake, I'm buying a shirt,
And
and
as
that's
the race fan in you is like as I like
the
to say.
race fan in me is telling me you got to buy a shirt. I'm 100% gonna go buy a shirt,
Yeah,
and
don't forget where you buy the shirts.
oh yeah.
RaceRanchwear.com. You got to go to Race Ranch. Get some of the best racing clothes in the business.
But absolutely, my mom actually had just texted me. Where do I go to order the shirt? I will get to her in a second. But nonetheless, I appreciate everybody that's tuned in on the YouTube side. We will see you in the next one. So long for now.